What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Tier 0 having Dune pre-sales up already. Pretty impressive considering they're dealing with a fire next door. They're going to be setting up a temporary location away from everything to open Duelist, Nexus, and do pre-sales, so that's pretty good that they have that going for them. For the reprint sets like LOB, MRD, etc., they're getting to assess damages today and I think further tomorrow. They have an update tab here on site, which they're going to be trying to keep people up to date with on what items are effective, how they're affected, and what they can do about it. That being said, let's go ahead and get into this. If I stop and pause, I've had a heck of a day. I'm losing my voice. And we have a lot to touch up on versus my reaction video yesterday where I did get some things wrong for sure. I'm always down to own when I'm wrong, by the way. Let's go price high to low as usual. And the first thing I got wrong is Magician's Bond and Unity. Even though it's the Import Starlight Quarter Century to the set, it is not a card anywhere else. So it's highly collectible like 10,000 Dragon. It's very expensive in the OCG, but what they also will be doing is reprinting this in further sets with a different color variation. I think this being the first. I think green also looks better than the next one, which is probably yellow. I think it's probably going to be doing the best out of most of them, if not all of them, depending. But when it comes down to this card, it will be interesting to see if that ploy of gotta get them all works for Konami. But right now, at top of the set in pre-sales, I know over on Gamer's Choice, they upped it in price, and it's still sold out. So it looks like Tier 0 is starting up even a little more. They have tons of international customers, including OCG customers, so it makes sense that they're starting it up there, especially after, you know, Gamer's Choice sold out, and they're trying to keep stock for international as a whole. Again, they do free worldwide shipping, and code What's Good 5 for 5% off and support the channel directly. Work there, and the free worldwide shippings, whenever you're doing, I believe it's like towards 60 or 80 pounds on an order, and you can play with the denominations up top on the screen. So let's go through their pricing. It looks like their Revolution Synchron is a little bit cheaper. It looks like their Synchro deck cores are a little bit more, and then Crimson Dragon up a little, E Purely Noir down a little. We have Visas here. I think that's a little more expensive than Gamers had it, and I do think that's going to be one of the good ones. Dark Corridor as well. I believe that's the Dark World card, is very good. Unchained Soul, we'll see how it goes and, like, ages. I think the Noble Knight cards will do maybe well all together as a whole, but what is the ceiling on Quarter Century rares and how are they affecting the set? I actually want to go back to the previous video on that too as we go through prices real quick, because I've heard so many takes from yesterday and today on that. I think that the estimated value pulled overall is actually helped by Quarter Century rares after mathing it out, which I should have done live there in the video, but I was trying to wrap it up. It's better than Starlight as a whole in terms of giving back, which is why the singles are cheaper, and people are complaining about that for some reason. I guess, you know, people who crack X amount of product aren't going to see all the Quarter Centuries on the smaller scale, and they might be complaining. This is good for the average duelist, in my opinion, and giving back solid value to product early, where the singles, I think, will now age more so like they used to before the insane, intense hype. Yes, we might still see week 1, week 2 buyouts, knee-jerk reactions to cards doing better in the meta than people thought, but over time, singles are still gonna single. Like, you're gonna see the set dry up, stop being given out at regionals and locals, and people are going to wait for reprints of the cards not through the WCQ season if they're gonna impact the meta or be really good. And so I think as long as the set has a good, solid backbone of singles within it, those singles are going to age well, and the product as a whole will flourish more. Again, you can prefer Starlights over Quarter Century Rare, but for the estimated value pulled of battles, and likely this as it ages, it's likely to do better, and the 8.3 cases having 25 total different ones on average versus the 10 cases having 5 different Starlights, I think this will be doing a bit better in terms of that kind of value, and the singles will still age. Lars is one of the funniest names I've seen. Again, I like the Infernoble cards overall, and the Dark World support. Hida as well, I think, will probably go up over time considering how collectible that line is. And past that, there are plenty. They said they would price these more aggressively. I want to see, oh, there it goes, sold out, $41. So yeah, some of these under 50, but nothing too crazy. Where is our, there's Revolution Synchron at $61. $1 above. So it seems like booster box for price on this. It could fall towards 45 at the beginning of the set, but I've heard a lot of people say they thought dart to the dartboard, it would be 60. So seeing this during pre-sales, the question is, do the vendors have it right? Does the community that was trying to lab this have it right? Or will it go a little bit cheaper thanks to the quarter century rares? That'll be interesting to watch. What do you think? Also, we see Dark Corridor priced up a little here. That's because they told me, the owner did tell me he was going to price it up a bit. He believes in draw cards. I don't blame him. Whenever you're doing theory brain with market brain, a draw card is not one that I would ever underestimate. Visas at 21, yeah, 18 to 20 seems pretty reasonable. Code What's Good 5 knocks it down a bit. E purely is what other people are going to be after, and modern product has had a lot of value in the ultra range. Crimson Dragon there at 17. I've heard all sorts of people argue that ban lists are going to come in and wreck this card. Well, it's going to be out without a ban list for a while, ain't it? But yeah, we are also in an off month versus competition, and then things will ramp up from regional. So this is actually coming out, entering into an off season as well. That's super interesting, and we'll have to see if regionals pump some blood back into the set. But I do think quarter century rares are what I would be eyeing mostly for now, along with certain singles within the set. But it looks like, yeah, a lot of the ultra secrets priced around pretty safely here, and similar-ish to Gamer's Choice. So Tier 0 doing a pretty good job. I'd like to hear your thought on the quarter century rare debate, though. Do you think it's good or bad for product? I think as a whole it's good. I think short term it's going to hurt the singles, which is great for the players. I think long term it's going to help the product. I could be wrong. People could take these as, you know, discount Starlights, but the battles cards are starting to bubble up more towards where Starlights are in core sets, but Battles also got to handpick a lot more interesting ones, where this is stuck with every secret and every ultra, leading to bum ones and different values, and we already knew quarter century rare would get devalued from having promos and megatons, as well as already in the legendary collection. Even if those are iconic-ish cards, they're not all. There's going to be bum ones in the megatons, so we were bound to get, you know, that kind of range, and then we're going to get the rarity collection with a ton of quarter century rare. So I do think it will come down to the singles that end up really pushing up on quarter century rare, and you're going to have junk ones as well, and I think that's fine. I think it's fine to have a top rarity that ends up having low ones like ultimate rares used to. People don't look back in the day and think, wow, ultimate rare construct first edition was only $4 more while it was the top meta deck, you know, than the ultra rare. So like, people now like look with rose colored glasses. The ultimate rare should be up, any high rarity should be way up in price. No, that's not how it necessarily works, and that's not how it always is. Konami took that away and made ultimate rares much more coveted by choking us out on them. So like, having these quarter century rares, one in every 3 box, it's not the most. It's not even as much as we used to get ultimate rares at. Konami's still playing the lottery game here with us, but I do think when it comes down to it, I like this model a little bit more than the Starlight model, and I think long-term for product, especially when it has a backbone of good singles, I think it's going to be pretty good for it. Let me know what you think of Tier 0's pricing. Again, code What's Good 5 for 5% off, and support the channel directly will work over here. It's been a huge debate. Tons of people DMing me and talking in the Discords and going over. It's been very interesting how quarter century rares got people going.